R.I.PRESENTS.
Sea people, mountain people, erosion. Continued last time. After Ryoji escaped from the cave, he was rescued by an old man and sent him by car to the Hokuto ruins. After satisfying his hunger at a convenience store, he drove home. Touka and Ryoji, what are the decisions they make? On the way back, he refilled his car with gasoline and returned home just before dusk. As soon as he parked the car, he removed the mud seat cover and went back to his room with it. Then he changed clothes quickly, took bath utensils, and headed to a public bath in the neighborhood. When he entered the bathhouse, he washed his whole body quickly, soaked slowly in a hot bathtub to warm his chilled body, soaked up to his shoulder in hot water, and looked blankly at the picture of Mount Fuji drawn with a mosaic pattern on the wall. As his body warmed up and calmed down, the events he had experienced so far popped up in his mind one after another. In my memory, that event is a fact. My mud-covered body proves it. But the puzzling thing is, why was there a car there? I don't remember stopping my car in the place. Partly because the memory in the cave has been partially gone. He have no confidence in his memory. And when the thinking ability was gradually dulled, it noticed that it had been blown by the heat of the bath, and it came out of the bath quickly, and it returned to the home. When he returned to his room, he unfolded the futon that had been folded close to the wall, lay on his back on the futon, staring blankly at the ceiling. What was it? When he muttered that, he thought back to that mysterious event, and the next moment he noticed something. Failed. Uncle's seat. I must have soiled the seat of the car that sent me. He regretted that he had only easily thanked the man, but when he closed his eyes, he was asleep before he knew it. When he woke up, the outside was completely bright. He seemed to have slept soundly, and when he woke up, his head was clear, and he quickly folded his futon, got dressed, and headed to the general store. The purpose is outdoor goods. This time, the caving exploration that ended halfway. He wanted to prepare the necessary tools for exploration in order to see what was going on in the depths of the cave. So he thought of important to deal with the darkness that became a problem this time, and lighting fixtures and batteries are more important than anything else. It is necessary to prepare more than one in case the lighting breaks. The rest are shoes that do not slip, raincoats, and tools to secure ropes and ropes, and shovels for digging soil, lighters for igniting, a water bottle to hold water. He also needed a rucksack to in equipment in at the end, so he wrote everything down in a note so he wouldn't forget it, and then searched the general store for items. He looked first at the light fixtures, then the shoes and ropes, then the jigs for securing the ropes, the warm clothes, and the backpack, and then calculated the approximate total price. Then, the price was an acceptable range that he could buy immediately, but considering other food, gasoline, and accommodation costs, he had hardly saved up until now, so it was a bit of a troubled shopping. He decided to buy equipment after increasing his savings, and then returned home from the general store. When he returned to his room, he was relieved that if he saved up from now on, he would be in time to explore, but he had no answer as to why the car was there, and concluded that he would have to check the next time he went. When he contacted the part-time job that evening, and told him that he was going to work this evening, Ryoji's daily life restarted. Six months after the earthquake, volunteer activities on the Tohoku coast became more active, and restoration was beginning little by little. However, due to the large amount of debris to be disposed of and frequent aftershocks, the work was interrupted each time, so the progress of the work was slow. In addition, the reputational damage caused by the nuclear accident was deeply rooted, and the subject of rumors extended to areas where nuclear material had not been scattered, so there was a headache in that area to dispose of rubble. The reputational damage was not limited to the disposal of rubble, but the people who carried out the restoration work were afraid of other rumors and did not gather, and the bad rumors that spread around the world would haunt them for many years. Reputational damage has also caused great damage to the local economy, especially the reputational damage suffered by local industries and the tourism industry, and many companies have closed the business, and the outflow of people has become a social problem. the bulletin board of the university where Touka goes, there are many paper of the volunteer recruitment oval and the story that there is a student who takes a rest from the university and goes to the volunteer activity has been heard in the inside. Touka also thought that there was something she could do, but she was not so confident in her physical strength, so she felt lonely about herself, which she could not do anything about because she did not think that she would be useful even if she went. One day, while talking about volunteering in a conversation with friends, one of her friends said, "I don't think volunteering is just helping with disaster recovery." So Touka asked her friend, "What are your thoughts?" The friend replied, "It's not that situation yet, but I think going sightseeing will be a support for the local area." "I like that idea," Touka muttered, listening to her friends' conversations, and in her heart, even if she wasn't confident in her strength or stamina, there were things she could do. She made a decision. She then parted from her friend, and when she got home, she checked her savings passbook. Then she looked at the balance of her savings and felt that it was an uneasy amount to travel. Then, let's do the part-time job in preparation for the day to come. From the day on, Touka's goal was to increase her savings and go on a sightseeing trip to Hokuto. In order to save money for the trip, Touka immediately went looking for a part-time job from the next day. However, there is already an idea of the part-time job, and the paper of the part-time job recruitment is always pasted in the convenience store in the vicinity, so my home is near there and it is safe. When she contacted the store the next day and went to the interview, she was hired immediately. She decided to work 3 days a week. From the week, she was balancing her studies and part-time job while finding time to research sightseeing spots in Hokuto in preparation for her trip. She praised herself for having a purpose and working hard while living a fulfilling life. There are 2 things she noticed when she started her part-time job. First of all, the convenience store, which thought that it was a casual part-time job, has a lot of work unexpectedly, and the waist hurts in the posture of the middle waist. She got used to the pain in her lower back during the first week, but customers would say, "You're so cute." Or, "Why why don't you go on a date? She was a little troubled by these words. Until then, she had thought of herself as not very conspicuous, and she liked the slightly larger eyes and small nose, but since she was at work, she thought, I am at work. But in fact, secretly she was pleased. When she consulted with her friends about sightseeing trips, she found that some of them already had part-time jobs, and each of them decided to travel expense measures. However, when one of her friends said, I get it from my parents, she smiled a little wryly. But she also felt a little envious. Even as a group of 4 people gathered to report on the current situation, this friend had a unique atmosphere, and she was a daughter who did not know much about the world. She is most interested in things she doesn't know, but she doesn't like to look it up on her own, so she asks, what is it? Although she annoyed those around her, her friendly personality was loved by everyone. She was an idol to her peers. The idol's name is Yua. Yua's aggressive actions have annoyed her friends, but Touka will eventually get caught up in it. In the early summer of the following year, aftershocks began to subside, and the reconstruction of Tohoku began to progress gradually, and at the same time, television reports began to report damage to the tourism industry. More than a year after the nuclear accident, reputational damage has not subsided, and even though the inland areas of the Tohoku region in particular are not affected by the tsunami and nuclear accident, tourists' feet remain far away and seem to be struggling considerably. In TV reports, the situation in the regions is broadcast every day, and when Touka learns of the predicament, she solidifies her feelings of support for the regions. This has no choice but to go. When Touka gathered her friends at the university, she declared the time has come to cheer everyone up. She said, why don't you make a concrete plan for the Tohoku trip that you have been consulting before? And suggested a trip to everyone. And everyone reacted and said, great, I was thinking about it too. Or, I've saved up my money. Or, where are we going? They agreed with great enthusiasm. To her friend Hiro, who is good at planning and doing homework, raised her hand. Actually, there There are several candidate places, Hiro said, and then pulled out a few pamphlets from her bag. My first choice is Hirazumi's Chusen Temple. My next wish is Nikotosho Shrine, and my third is a Soul Mountain, Hiro said, placing pamphlets on the table. I like to plan. With a big smile on her face, she said, the best course is to see the Konjiki Dao of Chusen Temple after seeing the Nikotosho Shrine. Isn't that nice? She excitedly showed off. When Touka said, I want to choose a cheap inn and see various places instead, Chisa, who is usually quiet and calm, replied, that's right. I want to eat a lot of delicious food. Her participated a little excitedly, and then her said, let's find out what kind of gourmet food is available. And everyone was very excited. They all went on a fantasy trip at a girls' party while looking at pamphlets, and as a result of losing track of time and talking, they decided to go from Nikko to Hiraizumi at the end of July, 3 nights and 4 days. And Hiro, who likes planning, decided to consult with a travel agent, and it was decided that the details such as travel expenses would be announced to everyone at a later date. Touka's expectations for her trip from the day on are more than ever. She had researched some of the tourist destinations in Tohoku, but she thought that she decided to go to Chusen Temple. She would have to look into them in more detail. Her immersion was more than when she was absorbed in ancient history and examined it. When she went to the library when she was off from college and part-time work, there were so many materials about Oshu Fujiwara and Ieyasu Tokugawa that she was looking forward to seeing the real things from now on, and her couldn't sleep at night. But in order to enjoy the trip, the first thing her need is travel funds. It was hard to balance her studies and part-time work, but she thought that she could enjoy traveling as much as she tried, so she decided to do her best. Spring in Hokkaido was from April to June, and it was still cold around the time, and Ryoji could not decide the day to go caving. He thought he could provide equipment and travel expenses, but judging from his previous experience, he decided that going in the cold months was a dangerous act. And when exploring in hot weather, securing drinking water is an important theme. He thought that the best time to go to Kushiro was from the second half of June, when it was easy to spend, and the middle of July. First of all, he bought all the necessary tools in June, told his part-time partner that he wanted to take a week off for travel, and decided to make a reservation at the inn where he stayed last time. The schedule was still not decided, so the first thing he went to gather information was a manga cafe. The purpose of going is the internet. He also thought of a library, but it was very difficult to find it from a huge amount of materials. That's why he wanted to use the internet that was easy to search. When he entered the shop, he immediately checked the Hokuto ruins. However, he was surprised at the small amount of information when he saw the list. Looking at all the contents, the obtained information was a rough content of the transition from the Juman period to the residential site of the Ainu people, and it was an impression that excavation had not advanced yet. A small amount of photographs were described, but it was far from the information he was looking for, and the only thing that became helpful was that there was a museum. After that, he went to the library and searched for materials, but could not find them, and he only came to the realization that he had to go to Kushiro to check them. After that, he bought supplies such as tools and shoes from June as planned, decided the date to go on a trip in mid-July, and booked an inn. It was good to decide the date of the trip, but by not getting any information he became a state of mind mixed with anxiety and expectation. From the manager of a karaoke shop who had seen his attitude, "You're an unstable and troubled guy." He was scolded. He reflected that it was not okay to show such dark feelings to his customers, and from then on he kept a normal heart, acted as cheerfully as possible, and waited for the day of travel. On the morning of the trip, he loaded a set of exploration tools and a set of clothes into the car, then got into the car and headed for Kushiro. The route to Kushiro was traveled by car using the expressway in favor of time. He took a break on the way, but when he entered Kushiro City in about 4 hours, it was around noon as planned. First he was hungry, so he hurried to the harbor. The name of the shop he went to was Shake Banya. Kushiro has many seafood seafood shops, and it is a mecca for seafood. When he searched for a restaurant on the internet, he found the method of being able to eat seafood of his own choice at a barbecue was very attractive. However, the photo of Uniden looked so delicious that he thought that Kushiro's specialty was Uniden. On his way to Kushiro, his appetite seemed to outweigh his intended cave exploration. And in his head, is there a rare uni red meat? What should I do if I find seafood I've never eaten? He was asking himself the question in his head. When he arrived at the store and went inside, many customers were already eating and he immediately ordered unadon and sat down in a corner. As he waited, he casually looked around, and the variety of seafood menus was lined up, and everything seemed delicious, and he had a lot of fun. He thought the seafood mecca was wonderful, but then the question came to his mind as to what the specialty of his hometown of Muroran was. The first thing that came to his mind was wakasaimo, which is famous in the region, but he can't think of the next one. He thinks a little, but in Muroran, yakitori meat is pork. Chicken meat is called differently depending on the part, and he thought that this might be unique to Muroran, but Muroran is not well known and this is a fatal injury. He thought it was because he didn't put any focus on tourism, even cause there were so many good things. Just as he was thinking, the long-awaited Uniden arrived. From the golden uni meat, there was a faint smell of the sea, and when he shook the case, it was a shake that felt fresh. First of all, he ate a bite of uni. This sweetness is definitely a favorite Bafan uni. Purple uni tastes a little bitter. The voice of his heart seemed to appear on his face, and he smiled slightly. From there, he ate half of it with the same taste, and then he tasted it in 2 patterns after pouring a little soy sauce, and ate it in no time. After enjoying a little time and satisfaction, he left the store. When he left the store and returned to the car, it was still early, so he decided to go see where to explore in preparation for tomorrow's expedition. He headed first to that place of suspicion. The place is the Hokuto ruins. He relied on his memory to drive, and the memory seemed to be correct, and he arrived at the entrance to the Hokuto ruins smoothly. He turned right right at the intersection and went a little further, slowing down where his car had stopped last time, moving slowly and looking around, but he couldn't see any unusual scenes and decided to go further. Then, the historic site Hokuto Ruins Exhibition Pavilion was found in the place where it advanced a little. He became interested in signs and buildings that he had not seen last time. There is no well-maintained parking lot, just a small square as a parking lot, and one car and one motorcycle were already parked. When he parked his car a little away and went outside, there was a museum building in front and a road to the ruins on the right. First, he decided to go to the exhibition hall. When he signed the notice of visit and entered the museum, a history DVD of the ruins was aired in front of a replica of a pit dwelling in the Jomon period, explaining the transition from the Jomon people to the Ainu people. In addition, excavated objects and photographs were exhibited with explanations, and the area of the ruins was 2.5 kilometers square, and all excavations had not yet been conducted, and the whole picture did not seem to be understood. He muttered, "I didn't know there were ruins from the Jomon period in Hokkaido." Looking at the materials on display, he was convinced that the cave must be part of this ruin. He wanted to see the Hokuto ruins as soon as possible, and when he left the exhibition hall, he hurried to the Hokuto ruins. Then, in front of the fence, he was surprised to see the signboard. Beware of the appearance of bears. Involuntarily, really. The reason why he had voiced it was that he thought of this area as a place of cave search. "I have to be careful," he thought, walking beside the fence to the ruins. After he continued on the road for a while, he came to a slightly wider meadow. When he looked closely at the grassland, he saw several depressions in the ground, reminiscent of a group of dwellings. But as he went a little further, he remembered a sign that read attention to the appearance of the bear, stopped on the spot, and looked around for any clues, but the forest blocked his view and no new information was available from where he was. So he had another place he wanted to check, so he stopped checking the situation from here on out and reluctantly turned back. On the way back, he wanted to see a little deeper, but he was a little confused that he hadn't thought about taking measures against bears. When he got back to his car, he was convinced that the cave was most likely part of the ruins and drove to his next destination. The destination is the place where he escaped from the cave. His memory was ambiguous because of the exhaustion when he escaped, so he wanted to decide where to look for the cave. Exiting the parking lot, he turned back from the Hokuto ruins and turned right on the T-junction at the end. He thought, I think it took less than 10 minutes from here to where I got in the man's car. However, there are no landmarks of the place, and I only remember the impression that the scene was a hill. As he drove and looked at the scene on the right in the direction of travel, an observation deck appeared on the right. But since the observatory was not the goal, he drove past it and checked the condition ahead. While driving, he thought about the time until he left the cave and returned to the road, but all the memories were too vague to be helpful. He was not sure of his memory, so he decided to check all the similar scenes. After a while, the trees on the right side decreased, and the view opened up a little, and he could see the distant scenery to some extent. After moving a little further from the place, he parked his car on the shoulder of the road, got out of the car, got close to the guardrail, and looked out over the scenery ahead. Then he found a similar hill a little far away. However, the memory itself is a memory when it escaped from the cave and was in a state of mind release. First he decided to check from this place and then explore around. On the spot, he looked around a little, and the confirmation of the place was finished. Tomorrow, we're finally starting his exploration. He braced himself, and although it was a little early, he entered the inn he had booked and decided to get ready for tomorrow, so he got back in the car and drove to the inn. The road to the inn was simple, but his memory was different and he got lost a little. After that, he managed to reach the inn, parked the car in the same place as last time, and headed to the reception of the inn. I'm Sakai, who made a reservation for the room. When he turned to the counter and said the man who greeted him was the face to see for the first time. He told the man his name and that he had a reservation. Then the man said, "Oh yes, please fill out the the accommodation card because you were staying for a day, and after saying that, the man asked him to fill out the accommodation form. When he fills out the card, I'll show you around to your room. The man walked out, so when he followed the man, he was guided to the room on the second floor, and when he opened the fusimur, it was a beautiful room. Going into the room, the man, "Please take it easy," said that and went back. This time, the hospitality he had the last time he stayed was good, so he was attracted to the food at the inn, so he decided to plan with 2 meals for one night. There is a little time left until dinner time to enjoy. He changed into the yukata in his room, grabbed his bath utensils and underwear, and went downstairs to ask the man at the counter if he could take a bath, to which he replied that he could take a bath at any time. He asked the man where the bath was and immediately went to the bath. The bath was a very common bathhouse, and after washing lightly, he soaked in the bathtub and thought about tomorrow's exploration. "I'm scared of bears, but I'll do as much as I can," he muttered, and since he was ready, he was determined to find out what was there this time. After taking a bath, he went back to his room and relaxed for a while until dinner. When it was time for dinner, meals were served in his room, and the side dishes were plentiful, including assorted sashimi, grilled fish, chawanmushi, and sukemano. The dinner was excellent, and I was happy to be able to eat in my room. Fresh sashimi, grilled fish, and all the ingredients are unique in the port city, and I was very satisfied with the taste that exceeded expectations. He finished his meal in no time, turned on the TV, and dozed off when he took a break. Then, maid came to clean up the serving, and asked him about the preparation of the futon. He was already sleepy, so he immediately had his futon ready and decided to go to bed early in preparation for the next day. When he woke up the next morning, it began to light up slightly outside, and the weather was sunny, and it was a morning that made him feel happy. First of all, he went to the bath in the morning for a change of pace. It's a travel pattern. After taking a bath lightly, when he tried to return to the room, maid stopped him. "Breakfast is served here." She spoke to him so and guided him to a room with 2 slightly larger tables. As soon as he got to his seat, maid served him breakfast. was excited about a happy meal in the morning, and when he finished breakfast, he thanked Maid with a full smile and went back to his room. He went back to his room, got dressed, said, "Let's go," and got out of the inn and got into the car. Then he said, "I'll do my best," again in the car, and drove to the place he had looked for yesterday. It didn't take long to get to the place. His goal is to discover and explore caves, so he needs to keep his car parked for a long time. However, the shoulder of this road is too narrow to stop the car. He thought about looking for a stop on the road ahead, but he thought the situation would not change, so he turned back and decided to use the parking lot of the observatory. He made a U-turn toward the observation deck and arrived shortly after. He parked his car at the end of the parking lot and immediately prepared to leave. He put on his rucksack, put gloves on his hands, grabbed his flashlight, locked the car, and made up his mind and started walking to find answers. The distance to the search point was a little far, but when he walked for a while, he saw a small hill that he had targeted on the right. Looking at the route from the guardrail to the hill, it seemed that I could get to the hill safely. He quickly climbed over the guardrail, slowly descended the slope, and headed for the hills. Today's story ends. The story is updated tomorrow. Please look forward to. Please subscribe to my channel.
See you again.